Enter a 1. She inhaled it as like a fake. Jesus.
Alright, somebody put the sound on the stream.
Alright,
Fun.
Robert, you got anything to
I'll put your
say
sheets right here over this because you're not going to be today.
about
What?
children in the stream?
If they are merely children, you have my permission to film my children's duration BB sessions.
Alright.
Oh, the picture. Cool.
Sound works.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Hi.
I make my own drinks.
Oh, cool.
Here. Oh, this is my birthday, remember.
All of a sudden,
I
the somewhere in this area.
And you would come to old mom. I remember. You would come to old mom. I was the short and
You
strong.
didn't say overwhelming.
Oh, I had
This is what
James
you
from
Alice.
Dark
You get
Maple.
the
I
Alice.
didn't
This is
buy it.
what you look like. This is what you look like, Alice.
Is that barbarian?
Yes, this is barbarian.
Yeah, you're a big shark. I feel like she should have a bite attack.
Oh, what is this?
That's a shark. Oh.
Shark
Let's put it this way. She
I'm
gets
a
the same
mouse.
abilities as Hunter Shark.
I'll show you what I look like.
Low HP.
This is what I look like.
Summon our target.
That is an owl.
But it takes our whole
That is
turn.
an owl. That is an owl. What do you get? A turtle. Big turtle.
Yeah,
Eel.
this the sleep spell. He had to take
What are you?
Frog.
Frog.
No, it's
I'm
the
mouse.
first weapon damage roll on her turn.
Oh, I thought that was. Oh, okay, yeah.
It's part of her archetype.
Hey, doesn't mean the Corbin you should watch us right now?
That'll work. We can kind of just nix that it's the same barbarian from earlier.
The next in line.
Well, you guys went to go with the cavalry and come back, and she could be one of the ones with
Alice,
them
you
that
can move
just
this off the
decided.
table so that we
I'm
can
gonna go
see.
with you
We
guys.
can have the table. Here. Do this. Okay. Over there. You have to leave this. I know what it is.
So you fully restored small last night.
Should you be?
Ooh, I
Should
was
you
my
be?
fail max at
Not technically a different session.
Cool. Otherwise, roll this dice for your accuracy. And wait a minute.
We
I
got
don't have
short
this
rest.
dice. I don't have this dice.
That's barbarian rage work. Someone hand me an extra pencil.
Amount.
What if I was a little? You don't have to go right now. We'll overload bloody.
Pencil? Okay, whatever.
Well, I mean that's the amount that you'll
Look
get
at
back.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, is your only good amount?
I'll start beginning.
But if you go over, it's not 10 HP.
Did anybody heal me while I was gone? Or did I just run off?
You ran off.
Wait a minute, did I lose a life?
No, y'all ran away.
No.
We thought about it.
I did think about it. Are we back at the
I'm
temple?
still at 86 health.
You have to do the temple at all?
You're still with.
Oh,
Yay! That means is she still right? Is she still right in front of me? Starting right here.
That ain't.
Her, the custodian, and Neverbeast
I started here.
basically just died, but Neverbeast left something in its wake, or in its absence. Do I still have the piece out there? Just throw the piece I was once on, and that'll be a damn.
Oh, well then what's for barbarian? One of the two.
Should be purple thingy that's up there.
This? What is off for now?
Shiny purple thingy. What? New. I'm still late.
Okay.
I don't see it. Where's that piece? No. No, this is an enemy now. That's an enemy. That's not your piece, actually.
Kill the nether beast. Well, the loot's dying on us.
Roll for percentage.
No.
Roll for
We already know who it is.
roll. 13. There's no mercy.
I'm trying to find you one.
I'm trying to find you one.
Ability.
I'm gonna turn my dice to 7.
Ability source for.
I mean, 4.
barbarian.
Yeah, I did that all before the game because I thought Zidane was going to be taking him over while
So
before we got his character back.
before did you improve mine?
Yes.
I'm still
You only do 5
I
spells?
improved everybody's health and I went after your attributes. Yeah, or your abilities. So I think with you,
By the way, you're probably dead.
I altered
How
something.
tough
I don't know what.
120?
Probably.
What?
110.
Oh,
I figure your con didn't need any more because that's kind of a dump stat right now since your AC is already 20.
what's that?
Yeah.
126. Hang on, I'm right here. Hold on.
I can't find the official one, but for now, just give her
That is the strip one. We were here.
that.
On
That's
the far
cute.
left side.
That'll work for now.
Oh, wait.
Here you go, Alice.
Pink. Pink. Yeah, it matches my stuff. There. Okay. By the way, you can put a minus sign.
But what?
I'm just trying to help her.
What's your path?
First,
Stop taking everything.
it's Path of the Zilla.
Path of the Seal.
I'm not taking it. I'm just trying to get it off of the board so that we can see the board.
It's basically the barbarian that never freaking dies.
Primal path.
Mine's taped,
Berserker,
so-
Frenzy, Mindless Rage, Intimidating
Can't see
Presence.
mine.
Yeah.
All right, Caleb, you want to pitch out what happened last night with the game?
I failed punching the custodian, got the Ballard for a split second. Got out of there. We ended up defeating this custodian. It turned into a mist into the sky, glittering up the room. At that point, the rogue and the fighter disappeared
They ran off.
to go get more troops.
Secure the third floor. Especially because I didn't bring this up earlier, but behind Abel, you see a structure that looks kind of like not a clock, but a sundial with a bunch of Roman numerals around it,
Or Aaron here yet.
and it's got
What did you find,
like
church?
ciphering
In the church. In the church.
puzzle pieces, so you can move it whichever direction you
Need
want.
them. But you can move.
After that, Abel got
Yeah.
burned to a crisp.
Let's
Got
start right here.
full of
I'll just start right there and roll it
And
down.
after defeating the Nether Beast, it dropped. I forget the name.
There.
Adarin. And he is on his dying words.
when Vince returns, I'll go back over those memories that I was talking about.
Oh, Vincent, he had a girlfriend in a past life.
I don't know if he'll be
That
happy
didn't
or if
come
he'll
out.
take it as yeah. I was gonna say.
That didn't come out as nice as I expected it to be.
I'm choosing. I'm just gonna stand right here in the church.
Maybe it's because you said girlfriend instead of like past lover or
Wait.
something of that nature.
Marco, we
Had
need
a
our church
girlfriend in
again.
a past
We need
He
our
life.
had a
church.
girlfriend.
Maybe it's something about
We need the
It's
church.
like Lancelot. He had
Hush
all
you.
the girlfriends, but he never really settled down.
Galahad.
I'm
had
gonna
all
see
her
church.
girlfriends. Yeah, Galahad was the prettiest knight.
He was the prettiest.
He was
But
also
Lancelot was
our
known as an adulterer.
Those aren't girlfriends, those are mistresses.
Oh,
There's a little bit of a difference there. Roll dice.
a worse difference.
I guess.
You know
Alright,
how
so
when
when
the
it's your
TV
turn.
comes on, you know how when the TV
Well, it would be worse. He's stuck with the Queen.
For actions? Yeah, that's just like this game. Okay? That means if you want to do anything, you have to roll dice. except for move when you're not in battle. Oh, but when you're moving in a battle, then
So when the Darren
don't
fell,
move, but certain cases.
he has dirty blonde hair and green eyes.
So this is one space.
Should sound familiar. Whenever I go over the memories, it'll sound perfect.
I can remove
This is every black line. Every black line is a space.
Every space is 5 feet.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Vince, you doing all right in there?
Count by 5s. Pretty well.
This is what his morning poop.
I'll show you how far I can
You didn't die, did you?
It's 3 in the afternoon. How's it your morning poop?
He woke up at 2. I woke up at 11.
I got out of bed at like 9.
Can we
Can
do something? I'm hungry.
It
I'm
was
hungry.
10 o'clock. I woke up. Then
There was two.
I decided to stay in bed until like 11.
That's kind of where I was at first. I was gonna look it up. I was like, oh.
You're like, gotta finish the boss fight.
I'm like, I can get up. No, I don't have to. I don't be there till 2.
We're gonna run the just
We're gonna
walk and you go eat.
When I told my wife, I was like, hey, we gotta go finish
So I didn't run
the
dragon, but when I first played this,
She goes, oh, we
I
can say
think
anything
on
else. Like, I
dragon.
think it's that man, Alice. Because we need a barbarian for the fight. We need somebody else to stab some damage.
Was that a good thing saying you have one more kid to watch?
Oh, so this is why you're worried about meta. Need somebody else.
You need a little bit of need a blood
I don't
smudge
know
for
what
the
this
first
says
time.
about your tactical prowess as a D&D player, or what this is about you as a father.
Raising my nerds.
There you go.
My nerds of nerds.
You lost your chair.
You're just gonna put him through the grinder.
Just welcome to the boss fight.
Welcome to the boss fight.
Stomach roll to 1, my ass paid the price.
Critical fail. I'm good.
Bathroom. Bye.
Hey man, we don't need another hurricane in the middle of the
I don't
continent.
think you should go.
Ow, let me remove me.
Hold your breath.
Don't die.
R.I.P. little buddy.
You'll be right. He survived my farts, man. I got home last night. I was laying
He's
in
gonna
bed.
die.
I just rolled a good one out of bed. My wife was like, "Fuck, just died." He was like, "You're welcome."
On the way back, it was me, Eric, and John in the van. John passed out in the back seat, and he was letting some farts go. At one point, I fucking woke up. I was like, "You need to check yourself."
Your farts.
We had to roll down the fucking windows, and it hung
You got some
around.
skid marks in there.
Like, are those underwear could have survived the trip home?
Oh my god.
I think he said she's not coming back, right?
Who?
Yeah, she's not gonna be here in time.
Who? What wasn't that?
Andrea,
That's it.
I can breathe again.
is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's not gonna probably get you.
No.
I hold my breath. I only hold my breath for 10 seconds.
Very little buddy.
Probably good he left the door open for now.
Air that out.
Probably not. It's gonna come in here.
I mean, if you wanna.
It'll light a match, put a candle right there in the hallway.
We'll
What is
just
that?
let
That's
them
our
out.
candle of remembrance. Don't go that way without breathing. That's what it's supposed to be.
Oh man. All right.
13 angels run away.
I see lights that in the sky. Wait, that's fine.
Yep.
No, I see light. Not
All right.
fun.
So before they ended up in this fight, these were the memories that they kind of went through. Fox remembers an officer with dirty blonde hair and green eyes who was starting to train under him. His memory scrambles with thoughts that he was KIA, but it turns out he was merely just vanished. They both shared strong sense of justice, especially on those who would harm children. Fox had flashes of the officer jotting notes constantly and instantly remembers the handwriting with the phrase of "I am here." Lexa flaxes to a scene where she had to make a choice before Abel was sealed. She stood at the vanguard as Forsaken masked Bat Fox, and she was in a spell battle with Abel. Abel, for a moment, turned her sister to her friends and demanded for her to end one of them. Lexa, in the moment of weakness, did kill Ryder, Zion, and Bastion with a volley of flame. This was back when you guys were Forsaken, before you guys became Zoddles later on.
Previous lives.
Because I died.
However, she kept tossing flames toward her sister, who returned to volleys of blighted dark tendrils. When the flames began to die, Lexa looked at the second ascension, who were still with her, as she let her tendrils win for a hush until the darkness enveloping her began to swell with a blue glow, which shook its way back to Abel and allowed Morgan and Oric to seal her away. She then remembers her death as a Forsaken, where she died not as a traitor to her sister, but as a primordial. Ryder remembers more about the adventures as a Zoddle whenever he came back just in a bat without the rest of the party. He finds himself amongst other Zots in the presence of the Never. His friends were working with no mind to the beast, but Ryder seemed intrigued by it, like it somehow had just awakened him. Morgan
It doesn't look like Zelda.
remembers about the rise of the primordials. He sees himself, Lexa, Abel before she was Azeel, Astrid, and another figure standing around a fire back whenever you guys were Zoddles, before you ever took on the Forsaken form and became whatever. In tandem, however, he shifts to see human faces on all but the mystery figure. He approaches the one he doesn't quite recognize, and he sees a green-yellow Zotl, as well as a human of a darker color. His eyes radiate green, and he seems only concerned about the Forsaken themselves. What will happen if we fail? How do we maintain anything we might lose? That's what he's saying. Soon after a scene where Noah becomes the golden tree is revealed, where he sealed the lost bodies away and grew the forest around him to protect them. His roofs feet downward, but just below the font where Morgan built the church. Make kind of sense now. Bastion is seen as a Forsaken with Astrid. The timing seems odd, but it can be guessed that this happened sometime after the sealing of Abel. Darren has Fox, Cain has Oric, Noah had Rowan, Abel thought she had Kylan, Eli has Morgan and Adamir, and I have you, which she's referring to you. You have protected me since I've arrived this way, as a Zotl, and you are a dear friend to me. So as such, I have to trust that you will trust me. He calls the night before the same night where she disappeared from the village. He chased her into the temple, fighting screamers and more to eventually see her give herself to the custodian. The creature, however, at this time does not seem the same. It's not dark, aura, glowing, but instead it's a pattern of stars, like it's a walking nebula. And it does not consume her in any frightening way. It simply hugs her and embraces her until she was gone. Tears were shed and shared by both Bastion and the Enigma standing before him. So that's whenever it took her.
Okay.
And she did that willingly. It's Abel that basically corrupted her and the Never Beast. Do you remember yours?
Not at all.
Okay. Zion recalls his training as a monk within the Ronin culture. His master at the time provided him with a gunk-like substance that seemed to be straight black mud from a nearby swamp. He looked at the cup, puzzled, unsure if it was wise to drink the Kool-Aid or if his old master was playing a joke on him. The result of the black and the liquid seemed to be corruption of a specific leaf. The master with quick hands switches the dark leaf for another, and the drink purified to a beautiful red-green tea. The master simply says, the conflict within the environment brings the flavor, but one noted ingredient can change the struggle. So that's most of the story stuff that we covered last night. Right now, like I said, Darren's on the floor, dying breath. The Never and the Custodian have just been defeated. The Custodian seems like it's gone now. It became what it was before. And Abel, she just got fucked up. Finally, gone.
Yay, finally! Her katana's not my face this time.
The curse last night. What was her strength check for? What was her strength stat? Painful.
For starting strength check,
Or just in general. Not very high.
it's not the greatest.
She might have failed strength check. Of 15.
No, she passed strength check of 18.
Oh shit.
3 times.
Wow. On
Disarming
me?
strike. No more katana for you.
She has an ability if she fails, she can choose to pass.
She failed 1 out of the 3.
I'm gonna go right here.
Metagame stuff.
Mm.
Especially whenever you started throwing fire at her, I was like, oh, I need to leave for a bit.
Let's just drop every kind of fireball we have available to us.
Burning hands through her and the.
Whoa.
I was like, well, I've only got the one fire spell. And that's
I was like, you know that we have, and that's the
Power
rest
flame this bitch.
how they hand kicks in.
End her nicely.
You know,
46
and
fire and
then
46
that.
rating.
Mhm.
You know this?
Also, last night, you guys did see the Guardian. He kind of helped with the war on the second floor, and then he just. Why are you shaking your head?
He didn't help.
He cutscened.
He cuts
He cutscened, killed a bunch of like NPCs, and then flew off. It was like, thanks, bro.
What the fuck, guy?
And
Yeah.
it's really mystery.
But you guys did feel stimulated again to where you are able to trigger 2 trances at a time. So that's now possible.
Tyler just unnerved himself. Unnerved the party.
Yeah.
I had to reiterate
Roll
the
this
path,
down.
like otherwise you guys would just be stomping through everything,
Like we
even
haven't
without Guy.
been. Let's say like we haven't been just stomping through half these fights.
Okay. Just. Also, Astrid taught the party how to basically take your life count and transfer it among party members. So you have a Darren on the floor there.
We transfer a life to him.
He already said
Technically one of
I
us.
couldn't revivify him.
Yeah,
He's gone. He last
Yeah.
Jedi'd
I
basically.
think that was after you left. Once
He put all his energy
Okay.
into
Okay.
controlling the
Okay.
network
Okay.
until Abel took him over. So
Pray to a god. You over here.
I've got spare the dying, revivify.
yeah. We
How
tried
will you
using.
get reincarnated?
I can raise the dead as my second fifth level.
His dead body gets up. No magic power to it anymore. Just.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
I know.
Stop squirming. Doesn't have medicine.
I was about to say it doesn't look like it.
all right. So anything want to be said to a Darren? He's the one that led you guys on this journey of immaculate crap because he found his journal, and obviously he's familiar to one of you.
Can you check too if the journal says anything?
Oh, we have the journal writer right in front of us.
Yeah.
Well, I'm dying.
I am here.
Alice, I see on camera.
Rousing speech. Don't worry. We'll finish the mission. You're not going to be reborn. Sorry. Sail!
I'm sure.
Alright.
That ain't. Stop squirming.
Can we go to battle now?
No.
Go back.
If I got.
You don't want to.
I want
Isn't that
to.
why we're all here?
All right. He
What if I got Alice?
Last time I had an encounter with a god, he almost killed me.
Almost.
Almost.
Hey, stop. Messing with the camera.
fun stuff.
And
All right. Let me make sure that he doesn't have anything specific to say.
As they lay here dying, may the force be with you.
Anakin. May the force be here.
He's done. I don't know what happened. His head just exploded.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, like in Cloverfield.
More or less, he grabs you by the arm and he's like, "I put my faith in you for a long time, Fox.
Don't worry, I'll probably not fail you.
I'm trusting you now." Other than that, he just reminds the party, beware the Guardian when you face this enigma of Shalrek.
He has stated that Guardian cannot be in there during the final fight. The final fight.
The final countdown. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do.
Never did chair.
You need a different chair.
So obviously, from here on, you probably, if you guys are probably just going to go ahead and descend to the tomb.
Say,
Sure.
stop it.
Sure.
Stop
Sounds
squirming.
good, guy.
All right.
Drop it down.
No, it was such a good idea.
Huh?
He said it sounded good, guys. I don't know. It's such a good idea.
Oh yeah, it's the best idea. That the agreement of the party. Obviously, you guys have just come back because he did grab your arm,
You ready?
and
Yes.
she's already got her war face on. Did you see that?
For a battle god.
He is a fucking
Yes.
barbarian.
Let's kill a guardian and let's kill a god.
All right.
Guardian's on our side.
And then the god. And then the god.
Is he
At the
though?
moment.
Is
I
he
meant
though?
let's kill a guard. God.
I mean, he hasn't really done much to help us.
He has his own causes.
He ran.
His
He,
cause.
as soon as we saved him, he ran. As soon as we saved him, he Voltron jumped away. and
Yeah.
Volk jumped. Volk jumped just.
It's not inaccurate.
Voltron.
Very defender of the universe.
That aim. Sit down. Breathe. No. Just regular breath.
Okay.
You're okay, Robert. It's all right.
I'm gonna have to turn the camera off and beat a child. That's all. That's all.
Look dead in the camera.
Wait,
I may,
Might have to turn the camera off and beat a child for a moment.
wait. Why
I may
does
or may not have some
Here,
microwave card.
my wait?
Stop time.
Has he cried in 6 months?
Made by
Here, I'm wearing
secret government
sunglasses.
NASA scientists.
He put sunglasses on me. He holds
This
me.
is chloroform.
I'm hungry.
Steam's trying to activate.
Will you go ahead and kill it?
Kill the queen.
Ew.
Queen Steam.
Yes, it's the king. King's creation. King's queen.
The Queen. Alright. So descend, right?
Descend!
Descent. Terrible movie.
Now,
Tell me what?
now. She means she wants to battle the god now.
Alright, so this is just going to be a flat out open room.
This is
So
the moment when you see the small children hitting X on the controller saying skip, skip, skip.
Hold square to skip cutscene.
so you guys found your way on the first floor. If you remember how that map played out, there was an entrance that had a key to go basically down that way.
I got the key, guys. Don't worry.
More of the road.
I mean, we're adults. You probably could have just stuck your hand in the lock.
Hey, it can work.
So you open that up, you start your descent, and as you guys go down, you see lines of vats. First of all, that are like very much of what you've already been through. You see the Zoddles. Lines of them on the way down. Just
Wait.
vats and vats of these worker creatures that he's been basically pulling life from for God knows how long.
Generations.
And cloning.
Years.
Obviously cloning, because there's so many of them. Then
It's all not like 600 eggs at a time. Yeah.
Then you go down a little further, and you guys are starting to see bodies very similar to the ones that you guys had as human form. And you're seeing, copies of everybody you've seen in the village, family members, stuff from all that past life. Like
Maybe
it's all
that dream
been,
wasn't so much of a dream after all.
like in some ways it's been constructed, and like obviously other Forsaken you've met and stuff like that. It's all there, all that genetic code, all that you've dealt with before. You go in further, and this don't feel so much like a clone situation. You start to see members of your races that you are now, but you can feel that they're legitimately members of your race
They're not
that have been collected.
copies. They're
And they've been here for God knows how long.
like suspended animation, track that if that continue, or what's going on with that?
The suspend, like ending or beginning of KOTOR 2, just in the vat, floating about, looking half dead.
You want some soup, darling? A little meaty.
All right.
Wouldn't that be a stew?
Hey.
All right. So you guys end up in the big room with the tomb. Obviously, there's only one big entrance, and it's not even really a doorway. The whole room's a doorway.
Your doorway.
And doorway. Shut your mouth.
I got a barbarian in my foot. There we go.
Is the dice bag monster gonna appear?
What?
Referencing yesterday, the dice monster.
Wait, I killed two more.
The dice bag monster.
You killed three more. I have all your money out already. Or I have to waste my time. No, do not fall. No falling. No falling! I just said no falling!
There's a lot of dead bodies in here.
These aren't
I
bodies.
hope they're dead bodies.
They are not bodies.
They're enemies.
Oh.
I was right. Walls die.
No.
What are they?
That's a big monster.
They're walls.
Nope.
That's a big
Bats.
monster.
That is all one big monster.
Jesus.
It's a snake.
I
Yep.
Shovel wreck is,
Wait.
yeah, it's been described.
You guys, as you guys kind of come down
Yeah,
to the
I
sand, you
have
guys
one,
start to
two,
feel
three,
the
four,
ground just
5,
shaking.
6. Oh, 4, 5, 6.
You see the head essentially just ascend through the ground, the size of a giant worm, basically.
Secret of Evermore.
Huh?
Secret of Evermore, the swamp snake.
With basically each spot that you see around you, you see black tendrils just kind of following, like just hairs that are just feeling around as it goes.
So it's more like a centipede. Or not a centipede, but like a,
Millipede. You paying attention?
Think of it
Oh,
like
I mean, actually, no.
9, all of us.
a snake with the legs, but the legs aren't needed, and it's got the face of a leech.
oh,
We're all the same level.
It's a C1.
It's not really.
Because they haven't updated the papers.
All updated then.
Actual little top
I'm sorry.
thing.
Setting, don't worry about it.
Don't update the book.
Make sure I got the right set of cards here before I get too crazy.
So are each of the segments that stick up an interactable monster?
so we have to destroy each segment.
No, you really just gotta destroy the head, I'm sure.
I'm just
Cut
helping
the
you.
head off and
I'm
the
just
body
gonna
dies.
put a sure pen game. Daddy's
The barber was like, you tell him the other and just start you. Back it away.
Heart is weak.
7 hard.
No.
Yeah.
Alice's
Which one of these has the
not
heart in
too
it?
high. Won't help.
All of them.
So he moves every 3 turns. He gets the first
Triangle
move.
on a bottom. Triangle on a bottom.
How many of him are there?
Bounce. Clear one on it.
It's just 10.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Alright, hey, you'll need to pay attention.
What's that?
Like I said, right now it's just 10.
Stop stacking your dice.
Okay.
It's bad luck. You don't totem things. Especially when you stack your dice at 20 at the bottom.
So like I said, he goes first. You better go ahead and roll for initiative.
One's at the bottom.
Hey.
Okay.
Roll your 20 side
17.
and add your initiative stat, which
10 plus.
is this one. Actually, yours should be plus.
Where's the initiative? Or- Plus 7. 9. I have 17. I got 9. I have 17 because I got 10 and
Plus
10.
3.
That means I got 10. Oh. Wait, you
What'd you
know,
get?
you
What'd you
said
roll?
initiative.
Oh.
You rolled a 9.
It's plus 7. I got 17.
Damn.
So do I have 10?
Yeah, you rolled a 10.
I got 17.
You rolled a calculated 10.
I got 17.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah,
You got 15, he's got 17.
Yeah.
I got 10.
You got 10, I got 9.
Plus 7.
You got 14.
He said,
I got 9.
I got 17.
Same.
So you all two reroll.
1, 2, 3.
Come on,
Or unless
reroll.
you just want the other one to go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
That you want to go first?
Yeah, I guess. I wanted to re-roll, but
Well,
okay.
technically you're going second.
Are you hungry? What do you mean?
The monster goes first.
No, we don't need extras.
Not yet.
We just need the box.
Oh,
yet.
yes.
Knowles.
This is the enemies. Enemies is
So we got no
one.
more sword.
No.
Hey, wait. Oh, right.
Hungry.
He is the void.
You forget
Can we get
yourself.
tacos?
Yeah, I forgot the other me.
Can we get tacos but flavored?
No.
Can we get some food later? Grandma told you to get food.
Andrea also rolled 17.
Should you go after him?
Go.
Here,
You what?
we roll
Should
that.
you go
Stop.
first or second?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I'll let her go ahead of me. I don't want to re-roll.
Yeah, I'll let Andrea go first.
Alright.
Well,
I choose
Sean
to
goes
die.
first. It's just, let's do it now.
We do shows the god. They never watch. They never fighting with the god. We're fighting the god. Literally.
Yep.
Alice, get out your special moves. Actually.
Hey,
So, I mean, to state the obvious, obviously, he cannot be knocked prone. He's fucking gargantuan.
Yeah.
I will knock him prone.
I'm just pushing straight.
So challenge accepted.
You're gonna shield bash until you.
You normal
He
attack.
cannot be grappled.
I will challenge that, sir.
You use normal attack.
He cannot be charmed.
Neither can I.
And he cannot be polymorphed.
can I dominate
No.
these son?
No. They don't roll. For
Yeah.
that.
He's flammable.
This is the only game that we've not done an endowment roll.
That's a beat. That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Because I've been trying to avoid it, Vince.
There's children.
Roll this. You roll this.
Are you trying?
This to attack.
I don't know.
That's what determines how much damage you're doing. What the line is the
When
bottom
we
of
get
it.
back to the 5e game, I'm going to force you to be a bard because you just love it, don't you?
There we go.
The bard just wants to get with everything.
What do you want to do? I'm gonna make half breeds of everything. Half rock, half human. Half elf, half human.
Does it exist? It's going to be.
Wait a minute, what does the front boss look like?
I feel a pulse.
The
The
front
giant
boss,
snake.
the front boss, are these rocks?
The retarded that Robert is slowly pushing over with his papers.
Love it.
Daddy's pushing it over.
Alright. So we're just going to open out with
Sorry.
its trimmer.
Anyone has earplugs?
Who's this?
Right.
Within 30 feet of any of its points.
So everybody.
So what is it?
It's a trimmer. Oh, let's see here. Everybody makes a DC 16 strength save.
Hey, roll your 20.
This one. Well, that's 20 on it.
Oh,
18.
12 plus 6. 18.
I'm not gonna join you, but I'm gonna join you with the one above you.
I got 18, kind of. I got
Wait, is it
12.
still the same
I got-
section as last
I
time?
got 12 plus 18.
Remember,
I got
one
4.
potion plus one upstairs.
Yes.
Can I
Then I
evade it?
need it.
I
Can
got
I evade
12
it?
plus 12 plus 6.
I'm pretty sure you're evading
What's
the
the strength?
medicine
Okay.
wisdom saves.
Strength.
Yeah,
I think it's a
plus
strength
6.
save. Is it all saves?
It's the plus below your strength stat.
Oh,
I
it's
think it's
great.
dex and
It's
strength.
15.
Hold up.
So you failed. You said 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Fail. Need.
Failed.
I got 18.
Pass.
Failed.
Fail.
Failed.
So,
Unless I can evade.
buck.
Unless I can evade.
Stop.
Buck. I don't know if we're knocking out or not.
Oh, man.
Did he even roll?
9.
I got
Plus.
7.
I'm sorry, -2. So
I thought that was a roll.
Yeah, Daddy, was
that is
Daddy,
strength mod is a -2.
is Daddy only
Yeah,
going
it's
to
the one
survive?
dexterity saves.
Was this a dex save?
Caleb,
So I
Strength
passed
save.
it when you missed.
Oh, this is a strength save?
Caleb, aren't you the little red dude?
That's
This is-
nine.
Everybody else failed.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
think we're-
mostly everybody failed.
Yeah.
Those who failed are knocked
You're-
prone
so you're
and take 12
You're
damage.
two
Knock,
faces?
knock.
Pass.
So you're
Those
two
who failed are
faces?
knocked prone and take
Yes.
12 damage.
What is it? 12 off your health. So
Alright.
instead of what's 110 on
Those who
12.
pass just take 6 damage.
Take 12.
Oh. Wait a minute, so what do I take? Do I take damage?
Did you pass or fail?
I failed.
Take 12 off of whatever your max health is.
Wait, oh
Or
wait.
whatever your current is.
Okay.
Alright, then.
I
Who's near the head?
74.
Andrea.
I'm 74.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm not really sorry
The red is
at
me.
all. I'm not sorry at all.
Wow, there really is only 2 of us standing.
You were the only ones that made that?
Stop that. You're making your sister rude.
Okay, I'm gonna have my tea
I
now.
think we need to switch
What's
for the
Well, somebody's gonna have to coach him through being his character then.
Or just migrate one down.
How about you? How about you help me?
He likes you.
I forgot your name though.
So,
Vince, right?
no.
Vince.
No, that's Caleb.
Caleb.
Wait,
Right,
what?
Vince. No, that's
Vince's.
Don't
That-
insult
that's
either of them by making them.
Vince is the one with the red beard.
Wait a minute. I thought you were Caleb.
Wait a minute.
I thought you were Caleb.
I'm Caleb. He's Vince.
I forgot about the spectrum here.
I'm Caleb. He's
Red,
Vince.
lighter red, brown.
Every color.
You said you were Caleb yesterday.
And then
You were Caleb yesterday.
Bald
He wasn't
faces.
here yesterday.
quiet, fresh face.
What?
All right.
No beard, no allowed to speak.
What?
Did you hear anything?
17 hit
I'll
Andrea.
stop talking.
Good one.
Who?
I'll start talking.
It's Andrew, she's prone.
She's
Wait.
14 too.
Oh yeah.
14.
Ah,
That's 12 plus
why?
2 for her.
Okay, does 17 hit anybody else within a cone of 20 other than her?
I need it.
Huh?
That's good.
What is
My
it?
head?
You need it,
My AC is 17.
but you're not in a cone of 20, are you?
Oh, of his head? No.
No.
I'm not. It's only Andrea. Yes, I didn't share it.
Or cone of 20 from his head. You know.
So, figure you'll probably need that just as much as I will.
And he shoots him. He shoots him. And
You
Take
know,
20 piercing damage. Pulled out of him.
Easy.
Zidane,
Hey.
sorry.
stop swinging your hands over the table.
Sit down in the chair.
Okay, I'm ready to take my hands now.
I think she has armor
I'm sorry.
against Pearson.
And she's pulled to him.
Oh, good.
I was like, all the way. Huh?
All the way.
Yeah, like right to his face.
Grapple stuff? Nope. Nope. Well, it's her turn.
Not yet. Multi-attack,
How many
bitch.
actions did he get?
Multi-attack, bitch. You don't want the Knowles in here, so he's gonna get his multi-attack. Can't make it too easy on y'all.
42 minutes. And
Oh.
I don't know how many seconds. 42 minutes and 10 seconds.
Alright.
I'm off is there 14.
Randomly.
Actually, it's longer than that. Longer than
Oh, shit, for more good.
42 seconds. And 42 minutes, and I have no idea how many seconds.
Alright. Who else? Oh, Vince, hi.
Hey.
Let's see here. That'd be you and yeah, that'd just be you so far.
I'll tell guys beard and just
Roll another strength saving throw.
Okay.
Me?
Just his beard was just not.
11?
11. That fails. Take 20 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, that's so much voice. Oh, I was the only girl here. She said there's so much boy here.
Alright.
She's the only. She's not used to being around the same voice.
My house is predominantly females.
Like one more female than boy than male. Female.
I know that doesn't move like a snake would move, but that's the essentials of what's happening.
Yeah, he's rolling in.
Coiling.
Daddy.
What?
Are you the only one alive?
Yes.
He is standing.
I'm alive.
It's only Guy and Daddy were standing.
Can I teleport just part of it? Grab the head, teleport just the head. Hey, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Daddy, press that really.
I'm pretty sure it's a size thing on there.
Daddy,
That's not, but But I'm not gonna allow it either way.
Would you say that again? I like it.
Alright, so what's going on?
That'd be like Infinity Gauntlet level shit.
What'd you do? I just teleport just his head.
That.
He said,
Don't what? You just broke yourself. What happened?
There are so many things wrong with that.
With what?
That movie.
Oh. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Because I mean, like, why didn't Doctor Strange just, do the same thing he did to Loki, just make him fall forever?
In the loop?
Yeah.
Guess you could have closed the portals. Reality stone. Or he could have just stopped the gravity on himself, or he could have positioned
But
himself
The
sideways.
time stone was the last one he needed, right? If I remember. Oh yeah, the mind stone.
He could have done the same thing he did to what's his name?
Dormammu, he could have
Yeah,
time
Dormammu.
moved him.
Yeah.
Not the reality stone. What's the other one that he had?
Let's just say
Yeah,
Ant-Man just showed up. Got
He
his
also had
head
the
and
space
bam.
stone. He could have trapped everybody
Space
else into
stone.
him.
Yeah, he could roll himself out of the time left.
Yeah.
The two stones that he had.
The one that
negated
basically
time
made him
stone.
beat the fuck out of the Hulk.
Yeah,
Hulk got his ass kicked because of the space stone.
because he could put an infinite amount of mass into a single hit.
Yeah, he.
See, now I'm wondering why that we're getting off topic.
A straight up fight between Hulk and Thanos, Hulk for one.
Without the stuff, yeah.
But the gauntlet itself is an empowering item, so.
Wait, guys. You did like the thing where you smoke this whole thing
Is
once
it
it's
not
time to
grappled?
fight it again.
Her turn?
Oh,
There is
cool.
no grapple.
Get up. Remove
I
him.
don't know.
Steam.
Daddy did it out his nose. Try getting to open it from the room. I had to
Get
skin
over.
that was that. I can still smell it.
How big is Cat?
I smell on there. I don't know what we're doing.
I'm about to cast a spell.
Okay.
Are you gonna do your super and do fireballs?
Yeah, let's just all use our super.
Oh, okay.
I choose super.
Not against this one.
Oh, are you?
No,
I
hold on.
like how he looks to me for what.
Like,
So I always smile because I'm like, I'm not going to tell you this part. Huh? No, you can use
no,
it.
you can use them.
I need to use mine.
I never used mine yet.
I'm not going to take now.
We should use mine.
Those churches.
I need that.
You need the +2 to AC. Are you sure you need that? Dude, last night I wailed on you with Magic Missile for like a half freaking hour of a game. And then guy comes in, he's like, oh, I'm just going to healing hand myself. Basically, all that went for naught. Because your freaking healing hands is like godly. Oh. I swear, you took like, what is it? Fucking 12 volleys of Magic Missile just straight to the face, and then he's like, done. Yeah. We made the joke. We were like, oh, the Paladin's got to masturbate for a bit. Hold up.
Guardian of Face. Guardian of Face. Don't know what that means. Why are you trying to bite me? I'm
Cast
hungry.
Qualifier. Which was.
Stop biting me. I'm trying to eat you. Ow, that's gross. I'm hungry.
5d8.
So
5d8.
Hungry?
fine.
How are you hungry?
My chair. No, my chair. My chair. I only eat sardines. No, you trying to lick it. Now stop trying to bite
Need
me.
one more? Here.
Eat sardines. There you go. I'm hungry.
What are these pinks? Not mine.
The one you just set down.
Here, Daddy, you get a green. Pink. Do not pink. Where's mine?
Like,
Son
you
of a
know, they're
bitch.
one of
Right here.
these things that violet.
Over here. Is that one mine? No. I already gave you yours.
One of them is
I already gave you yours, Alex. I gave you yours. And
Cast Qualifier along this line right here.
wall of fire.
Alright.
Oh, he's doing sorceress right now.
20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50,
Wait, Daddy.
55,
Which turn are you?
60.
So this way we can go do it.
Yes.
It does stand above ground, right?
That's 20 feet high.
But it stands above ground.
Yeah, on
Okay.
a solid surface.
Alright. I'm making sure he can still go under it.
I don't know why I'm rolling for damage. Yeah, I am. One step forward. That way it's rolling through him and his body. So they all count as individual creatures. Each one gets hit, right?
Each one in the damage thing.
So this would be damage for the head and the body.
14, 17,
But-
18, 19, 20.
If he's getting, if the head and the body's getting hit,
You want?
time this by 2. 'Cause- right?
Or the times 4 since there's 4 pieces.
Time
No,
for
that's
yours.
one segment.
Yeah, that's one piece.
36.
That's what you got?
Okay, so if it's hitting twice, then what? 74? 72.
Second. My dad's calling me. Hello? Behind Denny's? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and. All right. And
You got good. What?
I gotta go get my dad. Pick him up at Denny's real quick. You said 76 damage?
For 2 seconds.
Okay. I'll be right back.
You would need it in the stream.
For
Yeah.
now, yeah.
I should do a food run if anyone's hungry.
I'll let you do the thing with us.
It's my turn. Right.
That, if you guys want to play games, still more, whatever. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to move for him to get out.
Oh, I got 10. I think I